everyone. Welcome to or welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. Thank you for joining if this is your first week or if this is not your first week. Okay, so the energy that we're going to get this week is symbolized by the Knight of Swords. I would say probably an improvement from last week's Devil card. Not that it was all bad. Okay, we had to do that shadow work and all that, but we're on to different vibes this week. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I hope that Mercury retrograde is not derailing anyone's plans too much. But you know what? Sometimes it does that for a reason. Things get broken down to be rebuilt in a better way. And 2022 is all about this energy of ease. So maybe take a look at some structures in your life, some things you're doing that could be easier. So that was just like a little comment on, oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. I'm also feeling it with you. Okay, so on to the Knight of Swords. That is the energy for the week this week. So just a moment ago when I was pulling the card, first thing that came to mind was documenting any ideas that come your way. This could be a week where you are getting inspiration, where things are clicking for you in a different way. So have a notepad around if you're like me and you like to actually write things on like real paper and, stationery and stuff. Or just keep like a little notepad in your notes app and just jot down some things. Jot down some ideas. You could be inspired unexpectedly. And the next thing that came to me, and it is sort of this like night energy, was to act quickly on them. So we never want to jump into anything without researching and building a solid foundation. But it was more this idea of don't spend too long sitting on opportunities that you could have. The time might pass and the window might pass and then it might not be an energetic match anymore. So if you have some fantastic idea, don't save this, okay, for too long. Act on it. Act on it when it feels right. And you'll be so upset if you sit on it and think, you know what, nothing's ever going to come of it. And then you see someone else with your idea and then they're successful. I feel like that happens a lot to people. So go with it. Go with your ideas. That was like the first thing that came up for me this week. Second thing that came up that is kind of building on that is document any sort of epiphanies. And so the first part of what I said with those ideas was more in reference to career and creative and passion projects. But this part that I'm talking about, these epiphanies, are more about this emotional work we've been doing, about the reflecting we've been doing. A lot of people have been in their spiritual awakening on their journey. And there's a lot of shadow work and a lot of reflecting and looking into the past that goes with it. So you might see this week that you are able to have a different new perspective about old information and scenarios from the past. Realizing things, seeing things in a different way, things might actually click. And also this idea of reevaluating your old ways and mindsets. So job ideas, emotional epiphanies, really just make sure that you are paying attention to your thoughts this week. And what I want to remind you of with that notion is giving yourself time and space to have thoughts. So many of us are so distracted by social media, our phones, TV, other people, endless things that sometimes it's a bit before I realize, okay, wait, I need to literally just sit alone with my thoughts. A lot of us are specifically not doing that. That's the workaholics, or the people who are trying to escape through the use of like unhealthy habits or like substances and all that, right? So I'm asking you to do the hard thing this week, which is actually be present. Be present in the moment. This does not have to mean sitting in silence. To be honest, sometimes I love silence. I think it brings me a deep peace and allows me to let my senses recharge. I'm someone who easily gets overloaded with my senses. So that's more for people like me. But As far as like meditation and stuff, I know from so much research I've read that silent meditation really is not helpful for most people. So why don't you go and find like some beautiful sound bowls or chimes or any sort of instrumental, that's really the key word there, instrumental music that you can put on in the background. That way you're not fully sitting alone in silence, which can be really overwhelming for some people, but that you're also leaving space to let thoughts flood in. Leaving space to make these connections, to mull things over. And for those of you that are in touch with your spirit guides and ancestors, leaving that space and time for them to bring you ideas and to, receive messages from them. If you are constantly distracted and just going, I highly doubt that you're going to be receiving these messages. And this is a time specifically, okay, we're in a major consciousness shift. So this is the time to be tapped in, to be mindful, to take some time to just process and to receive messages from beyond, okay? You never know what's going to come through, so give yourself a minute. I know it's scary. I know that for many people, you're distracting yourself all the time because you don't want to be alone with your thoughts. But I'm also telling you that being alone with your thoughts is like the first step to any sort of personal growth. And it doesn't have to be alone. You could have someone, a loved one in the other room, and if things are overwhelming, you're like, okay, good for now, I'm gonna go spend time with someone who makes me feel good. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. So yes, more of this Knight of Swords energy. I wrote some notes, so I'm just kind of checking out what I wrote here. Okay, this is also a sign that if you know, don't be swayed by other people's opinions that do not know all the information about your life. Do not be swayed by the opinions of others who are closed-minded and who are not happy with their own lives. So many of us are afraid to be who we really are because we don't know how people are going to react to it. Judgment, people making you feel silly for following your passions, whatever. Don't listen to them, okay? Like I said, half the people that are discouraging you are people that believe they cannot accomplish their dreams. That does not have any sort of sway over what your personal capability in your own life is. So this Knight of Swords energy is telling you, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself with your words, okay? This is a time to think with your mind, think a little bit logically. Don't let emotions pull you into a place where you're stooping down to somebody's level. You can be respectful and also create boundaries. You can be respectful and stand up for yourself. You do not have to stoop low if someone is being disrespectful with you about these kinds of conversations. So, remove yourself from the situation. You also don't have to take it. By being respectful in your response, it does not mean to let people walk over you. If anything, this Knight of Swords energy is saying, stand up for yourself. Stand up for what you believe in. And so that's why this whole don't be swayed by the opinions of others thing was really important for me to share this week. Okay, any other things? Let's see. Yes, not only standing up for yourself with this energy, but standing up for other people in your life. Now, I'm not saying to go meddle around to get in everybody's business, but you know what? If you are witnessing injustices, whether this is people you know in real life or strangers on, like, let's say public transportation or at the supermarket, are you just going to sit back and be a witness to that? Or are you going to stand up in the face of injustice and stand up for somebody who is, for whatever reason, not capable of standing up for themselves? So many times people out there feel alone, whether that's someone you know in your personal life feels alone in that they have to put up with what's going on because no one understands them or no one's checking in on them, or, they want to be strong for everybody. Or it's like something messed up is happening to you and you don't really know anyone there. So there's not really anybody you feel like you could ask for help. So you know what? Be that person to help. If I see someone getting screamed at or like something, like I'm going to step in to maybe not, and listen, if it's like a 7-foot tall guy, am I going to get in his face? No, but I'm going to find someone to get the other person out of that situation. So I'm not asking you to put yourself in harm's way or danger. I'm saying keep your eyes peeled this week for a chance for you to stand up for somebody who needs support, or to be that support for someone. Or maybe somebody in your personal life confides in you about something. Let's say they're not being treated right in their relationship. Be that person to be honest with them. Let them know that they deserve better. Let them know that there is better out there. These are just random examples, okay? But you get the gist of what I'm saying. So if you are going to be a witness to injustice and not do anything to, I'm not going to say put a stop to it, because like if it's a dangerous physical situation, I don't want you getting hurt either. But it's more just like getting someone else's help, getting someone else's attention that can help, can interfere, and like letting someone who's in a bad situation know that they're not alone, okay? We need to unite together more. I am not afraid at this day and age, if I see someone going through something, to ask them if they need help. I used to have such social anxiety where, someone like drops something, or like their cart falls over in the store, and, you feel awkward, like, oh, I'm just going to keep walking. No, now I'm the person that's like down on the floor helping people. I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, I'm so great. I more just mean like, sometimes you got to get out of that bubble of, oh gosh, what is this person going to think? Listen, if they don't want your help, they don't want it. But there are many times where people wish that they had somebody else in the vicinity to give them that support. So be on the lookout for that this week. You can create change. We are all just one person, in our own lives, but together we are so much stronger and powerful. And I think that the messages that get sent a lot of times are the opposite of that. I think that, a lot of the injustice that goes on wants you to believe that as one person, you cannot make a difference. But you can, especially if you making that difference helps other people awaken and open their hearts and see that they care too. And when we work together, that's really when we can create big change. So just some other things I wanted to say about that. And let's see. That leads me into what causes are close to your heart. How can you help? How can you donate time or money, or even just help spread the message about a good organization or someone who needs help or something like that? So it's a good time to give back to others. It's always a good time for that, honestly. But this Knight of Swords energy, while it was all about the first things I talked about, I really did have that strong feeling of encouraging you out there to get involved in whatever causes that you feel like really hit home for you. If we all picked a couple things that we really care about and we donated our time, our money, or just even got the word out, for an organization who needs help, we could create, again, so much change doing that. This is not the time to be shying away, okay? This is the time for us to unite against these injustices. And the last thing I'm going to say before we go is that in order to do that, a lot of us need to work on opening our hearts, okay? Get those heart chakra crystals, heart chakra sound bowls, all that stuff, okay? Get it going, because the key to, manifestation is like this whole thing, right? Like it's totally just like blown up and sort of gained a life force of its own. But the key to all of this, okay, manifesting your best life, as many say, the key to happiness, the key to abundance, the key to living a life that is really fulfilling is all about opening your heart. I know it might be hard for some of you right now to see that connection, because for me at one point, it was really hard for me to see that connection. And my heart was so closed off and buried under 10 feet of ice. But I can now tell you that opening your heart, seeing the situations that people are living in around you, putting yourself in someone else's shoes before you judge them, before you overreact in a situation, before you get mad at the cashier when you're sick of waiting in line, all those things, all of that. When you start opening your heart, you're going to see major changes in your life. Even if that's the reason why you start out doing it, is just like so you could, pull positive energy into your life. Whatever the reason is, just take a look at that. take a look at how you could be more empathetic, how you could share your kindness with others, how you could share positive energy, and just offer to help out someone this week. I know that was all over the place, but those were all the messages that the Knight of Swords was giving me for this week. I hope you have a fantastic week. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Glam Spirit. I post a lot of other like beauty, makeup, tarot, oracle, crystals. It's pretty much a fusion of glam and witchy things, hence the Glam Spirit, okay? So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. Leave me a comment below if something that I said kind of comes up for you this week. That would be awesome to kind of see like, oh, you came back to this video and were like, right, that's something I was thinking about. So have an awesome week, and I will be here next Monday. Bye, everybody.